So what about those other voices that we were talking about? We asked Central District Health just how many emails they received both for and against this proposed public health order. For Friday's meeting, before they tabled it until today, the board received more than 550 emails. Between Friday and today, another 3,000. That's 3,500 emails, more than that. In that first batch, the 500 or so sent before Friday night's meeting, a good 80% were against the order as it was drafted. There are some who sent several emails, while dozens of others copied and pasted the same bolded and colored text. And there were a number of emails from residents not even under CDH's jurisdiction, from Nampa and Fruitland to American Falls and Twin Falls, even some from out of state. And we were told board members read every one of them. And it appears they did, and actually considered what they said, because since that meeting on Friday, the board did decide to remove a few things from the original draft order, including pausing sports, allowing bars and restaurants to stay open past 10. You could visit jails and long-term care facilities now. So what was in those emails? We were curious. Well, we sifted through all of them, okay, most of them, and we found several common themes. First, more than a fair share seemed to copy and paste a blanket statement that read, "As a citizen of Idaho and resident of whatever city, I oppose the ratifying of the public health emergency order. There is no delegated authority to quarantine the healthy. Which one of you has the unlawful authority to deprive me of my liberty? I oppose the resolution 549-20 and the ratifying of the public health emergency order 20-30 and urge you, a public servant, to vote according to the Constitution and your constituents' demands." But what is resolution 549-20 and public health emergency order 20-30? Not sure. It's not this one. Those numbers or designations aren't anywhere on this draft order, so they copied and pasted it from where we don't know. And about those claims, the board has no legal authority to enact any mandates, making the order unconstitutional. Well, that's not true. We've talked about this a couple of times on the 208. Under Idaho Code Title 39, Chapter 4, it spells out the powers and duties of a health district as established back in the 1970s. Item 2, well, it says, quote, "to do all things required for the preservation and protection of the public health and preventative health, and such other things delegated by the director of the State Department of Health and Welfare, and this shall be authority for the directors to so delegate." And since we are under an emergency health order right now, that's how that all falls in line. So yes, they do have the right to draft and pass public health orders as long as they are doing so in the name of protecting our health. There was another group of emails that seemed to have the misconception that this order would send us back into a lockdown, another stay-at-home order. Well, that's not the case, not even close to what we saw back in March and April. If passed, this order that they are considering this evening would require masks be worn in public when distancing more than 6 feet, when that can happen, that is. Gatherings of 10 or more people, whether in public or in private, would not be allowed unless you are attending church or a political event. And bars are open, restaurants can dine in. Absolutely nothing has been shut down, just limited to somehow get control of this rampant spread of the coronavirus. It wasn't all negative, though, as the signs out front of the CDH offices can attest. Between Friday night and Monday night, the board received another 3,000 emails, 3,000 plus emails. The difference, the majority of what we saw, were in favor of the order as it is now written. So we will see what is discussed and likely ultimately decided on beginning in about 10 minutes or so. But here's my question to any of you who sent in an email and claim the health district board members aren't elected officials and therefore shouldn't be allowed to decide on mandates. As is the case with Central District Health, most board members, 4 of the 7, are elected county commissioners. And as we know, elected officials are pretty sensitive to public perception. After all, they depend on people liking them and voting for them, right? But the question needs to be asked. Should health district board members be beholden to public opinion or be persuaded by science? And if public opinion carries so much weight with pandemic health orders, maybe it's not as dire as we're being told. I don't believe that, though. But I am starting to think that if our health boards were specifically elected positions, science would certainly take a backseat, like an even further backseat, like third row backseat to votes.